going here, man? We're a little slow on the click here, so good morning, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Brew and Activate. Ooh, wow, yeah, Shannon and I were having a in-depth conversation in the background, arguing with AI.
Oh, I thought we were arguing with each other, but
well, yeah, this could be AI for all you know. You don't know.
I am Shannon.
I wasn't going to go that far, but it's kind of. I thought AI was a little bit better than that. You know, the robot from what was that 70s show that we used to watch on TV?
Lost in
Space. Yes, exactly.
Will Robinson.
Warning, Will Robinson. Warning, Will Robinson. Anyway, oh boy. All right. Good morning. Like I said, I'm Eric.
Coffee.
Nothing yet. It's just only Dunkin's. I'm Eric, N1JUR, and I'm with my co-host.
I'm Shannon, KC1 OHT here in the U.S. or 2 Echo Zero Oscar Hotel Tango in the U.K.
And this is Brew and Activate, guys. So if you're watching live there in the chat, say hello. Let us know where you're at and tuning in from. And heck, this is the first time here. We got a few folks in the chat there coming along. We'll say hello and do a roll call in a second or two. Yeah, you're officially part of the Brew Crew. Good morning. All right. Well, with that, we've got an interesting show today. I'm going to kind of set the stage here a little bit. Last live stream that we did at Nearfest was an utter and total chaotic failure. I went back and watched it, and yes, it was very painful and a challenge for sure. I spent a good portion of my, beginning of the week testing the gear, and then I set it all up, and I got there early with Matt, and it was great. Everything was working good, and then just the crap hit the fan, and on top of just trying to get everything together, and the Ed Fong guy showing up late and setting up literally in front of us while the cameras and everything are there. It was a disaster to begin with. But, with that, all I'm going to say is, hey, we are still going to continue because I felt bad because we couldn't do the giveaways that we wanted to do. So we're going to continue this today on today's show. But today, as the title alluded, hey, we're going to talk a little AI, but we're not talking AI in whether it's good for your health or bad for your health or the latest hype. We're going to use it as a tool because, heck, here at Brew and Activate, it's all about tools, right? It's all about getting out there, doing stuff, learning, using our equipment, getting better. And, heck, AI is just as a good enough tool for us to be able to get out there and use it to our advantage to be able to, help us have more successful activation because, heck, we all know what's going to happen? Like solar cycle minimums coming up, right?
Yes.
Shannon's so happy about that. So am I. So yeah, you got things like that you got to deal with, but we're going to get into all that in a second. So with that, if you are super interested in this stuff and you're joining us today, we've got the Discord link there posted that you can check that out and come be part of the conversation over there. We have a great time over there. There's plenty of folks involved in having talks about POTA and everything in between. So yeah, come on over and join the chat there. It's a great way to continue and pick up everything you learned here. So I guess with that, you want to give a quick shout out there, Shannon, with those that are in the chat.
Yeah, so far in the chat, I am seeing in my chat, Jason, KD2UDR. Good morning. Foxtrot Fred, 2CT320. I don't recognize that person, so maybe it's somebody new. I don't know.
Cool. Okay.
And we also have the usual suspects of Roger McKeon, James KI50EB668. Ham Radio QRP K0KLB.
Kevin.
So, yeah, that is the Brew and Activate crew as it stands at this moment.
Well, awesome. Good deal. Well, we're going to kind of get into, like I said, the topic today, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of housekeeping things. You can kind of file there in the back of your computers. Obviously, if you can't catch us live on this stream, fear not. We've got a podcast now. So this show gets converted directly to podcast format. So you can always fire up your podcast player of choice and search for Brew and Activate podcast, and you'll find us there. So you can't miss out on any of the latest stuff that we talk about every week to week. And so if you're a subscriber, that heck, let us know. Put in the comments, head on over and share that in the Discord, because we're always curious to see who those guys are and whether or not you're enjoying the feed and the podcast as well. So if you want to obviously help support the show, there's a bunch of different ways, both for Shannon and I, that obviously you can head on over to our merch store at livefreeandham.com/shop. You can check out all of the great merch items that we're got in the store, both with Shannon, with all of her POTA on shirts and everything, as well as the Brew Crew stuff. So you can get stickers, you get the hats, you can get the koozies. I mean, they're all out there. So head on over there and you can definitely help support us through that stuff. And if you haven't already, heck, the easiest and simplest and most low-cost way you guys can help us is definitely hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like and share the show, and that hype button now. I know a lot of people haven't used that too often, but, hyping our show definitely helps us get it into more eyeball views of those that are out there who might be interested in this type of content and POTA and ham radio in general. So yeah, definitely help that. And it's, takes 2 seconds, and it's definitely helps us in the long run for sure. So with that, let's kind of dive in. I just want to kind of catch people up. For those that are new to the show, obviously, we've been experimenting for a while on and off, turning off the midstream ad rolls. We all hate them. We all can't stand them when they interrupt our flow of content, especially on a live stream. But honestly, I'm always about, making sure that stream of content's always consistent and non-interrupting to you guys, because it, helps us as a show and helps the flow of discussion. So, to be honest, the reality of that stuff is, we have to kind of do it as YouTubers because it is a little bit of, the ad rolls do help our channel a little bit. And obviously they don't help a ton, but every little bit counts in the world of YouTubing. And so it's a struggle that I have. And so, I have to kind of constantly measure this back and forth. And basically what I want to try with you guys, so instead of running ads during the stream, I'm going to just set a simple community goal every episode and every live stream. If we can basically hit, the mark of about $20 in super chats throughout the stream, it'll keep us ad free and uninterrupted for everybody. Again, it's no pressure at all, guys. Just another way you guys can help us in the community and support what we're building here, because it definitely is something that we are seeing an increase, and we want to obviously continue to provide you this content. And so, toss a couple bucks in the tip jar in the stream. It's awesome. If not, again, hanging out in the chat, liking the stream, and being part of the community still always helps a ton. So, with that, let's kind of get into some of the stuff. So, anything obviously on the horizon there, Shannon? Because I know, there's been talks in the Discords about stuff going on, and we can obviously see the photo in the background. She's changed that a little bit. Where is said location and where are you off to?
Yeah, so of course, I'm getting ready to head out to Dayton, Ohio for Hamvention next week. I'm planning on leaving on Wednesday, sometime after Miles gets out of school. Not exactly sure how early or late I'm going to go. Obviously, want to try to miss some of that rush hour traffic, so might wait until a little later. Hopefully, we'll arrive in Dayton, Ohio sometime on Thursday morning or afternoon. And we'll be all rested and refreshed to hit Hamvention running on Friday. Definitely, I want to make it to the YL meetup, which I know last year was on Friday. I missed it last year because we arrived on Friday morning after driving for 14 hours.
Oh.
I had been up for, probably somewhere around 28 hours at that point, because I woke up at 6:30 the previous morning to get Miles ready for school and just stayed up the whole time and then drove 14 hours straight to Hamvention. So we were, basically high on,
sugar,
monster energy drinks and coffee and everything else. So we were like a zombie that first day. And that first day was extremely hot. and humid. So, I was not really prepared for that coming from like Massachusetts where it wasn't quite so hot and humid yet.
Yep.
But so that's the plan. I'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Be looking for me. Probably mostly around the show buildings. I probably will make some spins around the flea market. But I love the old radios and stuff. For anyone who was with me on last Friday at Nearfest, I love the military radios, the stuff from the 40s, the 50s, the Heath kits, the Collins, all that good kind of stuff. If I had a shack that I could just have shack decor, then I would just have walls of these radios. But I don't have a shack to have shack decor, and I don't know enough about the radios to know what the value is, if it's in working condition, if it can be fixed, all that good kind of stuff. So I don't have any of that old gear, but I just love to look at it. So I probably will make a few spins around
Boneyard.
yeah, and then if you were at Nearfest, or if you also enjoy ham radio flea markets, drop in the chat like what's some of your favorite things to find at the ham radio flea market. Let us know. I'd love to hear. One of the coolest things that I found was a 1937 alternating current voltmeter that was made by General Electric in Schenectady, New York, and then it was tested at the West Lynn plant, and it had like Bakelite knobs, and it had the GE logo like molded in there. I think the GE logo is so elegant, right? And it's something local to me. My grandfather was president of IUE Local 201 for many years here in Lynn, the union for General Electric. So yeah, that's my story with that. So that's what I have kind of coming up in like the immediate future.
Very cool. Well, that's not that far off for sure. It's literally next week, and I am not going to be at Dayton this year, sadly. I am hopefully future plans, just in terms of life and work and all the other stuff gets in the way. So no plans for me. Although we'll talk future stuff down the road and just live vicariously through you. So I guess I'm sure probably in some of our listeners' minds it's like, okay, well, how does Friday look in terms of the live stream? And I'm like, we'll continue on. Shannon may make an appearance. We're kind of working out those details. Again, if she just described her 26-hour drive, she's not going to be coherent enough to get on a live stream in her mind. But at the same time, we'll definitely, hopefully, maybe enjoy having you come on and saying hello.
I'll try to come on pedestrian mobile,
Yeah. Well, however, exactly. If you want to be even in the chat, that's totally fine. Works all the way. So yeah, she'll be at Dayton this year. So keep an eye out for her. She is actually going to have on her possession. So if you are going to Dayton and you want to get a couple of these limited runs of our Brew and Activate stickers, so those that know the logo well, she'll have a whole bunch on here. So just come up to her, and ask her for one. She'll definitely give you one. Shake your hand, say hello, and so yeah, you head on over. She'll have those in a plentiful supply. Oh, all right.
Okay,
well,
you want to hear a Dayton joke real quick?
There's jokes in Dayton. Okay,
Did I tell you this joke before? Somebody told this to me. How do you find Engagement, Ohio?
I don't know.
It's halfway between Dayton and Marion.
I don't get the joke. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
How
oh God, that is such a dad joke. Like that just that explains why 3 of our listeners just dropped off. But my gosh, they worked too hard on that one.
I didn't come up with it.
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying whoever gave it to you worked too hard on that one, and they should be putting their resources somewhere else.
It was a ham and a dad, so it makes sense that it was a dad joke.
100%. Yes, please. No dad jokes in the comments.
Yes. No. If you love dad jokes, then drop your dad jokes in the chat, or send us a dad joke super chat.
There you go. Just so you can.
If you want me to read your dad joke live on Brew and Activate, send it as a super chat.
Yes, very cool. Take proposal Av. Oh my. Yes, Grouch is definitely adding to your dad jokes here.
Grouch appreciates the humor.
He
Thank you,
does,
Grouch.
but simple minds, whatever.
Wow.
I love the man. All right, very cool. All right, well, with that, let's kind of keep going through here. We've got our usual stuff, so let's kick off our POTA Minute this morning because we didn't do it last week. Button, please. There we go. Okay, what? Oh, wrong one again. Man, I am off the key today. So, all right, with that, we are talking our POTA Minute. It is one small POTA idea, one real-world observation in about 60 seconds just to get you thinking. This one was a carryover from last week because we didn't get a chance to do it. So, wanted to make sure we got it in here. That's why we have the official Dunkin's Brew and Activate cup there in the background. And so with that, this is where we get one real observation, about 60 seconds just to get you thinking. There's no right answer here, just stuff you start noticing. Again, after a bunch of activations or a few hundred hunts for sure. If this happened to you, well, then say so in the chat. If you do it even differently, let me know as well. So with that, today's POTA Minute is called the 2-rule call. Again, always important to call once, maybe twice, and then pause. And here's the reason. A lot of times we just assume because technology, the way we do, communications with people in the real world, phone calls, that type of stuff, that we just assume our voice obviously carries. It gets to the other end, error-free, 100% clear and clarity. Not the case in ham radio. I mean, ham radio, as we all know, if we've been in ham radio for a little while, bottom line is like you could throw your call out there, but that other station that might be calling CQ POTA or CQ Tiles or SOTA may not hear you for whatever reason. Conditions just may not be in your favor. So idea here is, again, don't overwhelm the activator or the person you're trying to reach on the other end who's calling CQ. Call once, call twice, and then get a little bit of a pause. And that pause is not like a breath. It's like put a pause in there, put a pin in it, kind of let it sit there. And then after you kind of get the rhythm and feel what's going on, understand that eventually you will get through. We all have been through that stage. So if you've never been in an activation, it's your first time, or you're hunting an activation, it's your first time, give it that little pause. Apply some of the DX rules of conduct. And it will go a long way to be able to getting you through and making sure you're heard. So, Shannon, anything you want to throw at that one? I mean, it's kind of a basic one, but
Grouch says, "I'll call out 5 times if I want to. You're not the boss of me."
I know. I figured so.
Well, we're talking about calling CQ, like you call once, maybe twice, then pause, and
or hunting, doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, if you're hunting, like, you're not gonna, you can only call when the person says QRZ.
Oh, really? Because I know a lot of hunters that hunt Keith AC1RH, and he says he's going to be there at 7:30, and they're already calling out their call signs to nobody who's in that frequency space whatsoever. So you tell me how that one works.
Yeah, I mean, that is bad amateur radio behavior. You should only call if you can hear the station calling, because otherwise you're just adding to the noise.
You are. I agree. And, there's good noise and there's bad noise for sure. I will agree with that. And don't be the bad noise.
But, I don't leave, when I'm calling CQ, I don't leave like too long of a pause because I don't want somebody to steal my frequency.
Well, that's an interesting one because I did a live stream 2-3 days. Yeah, it must have been a week ago. And outside of the complications I had on it with the live stream equipment, I was literally carrying a conversation with people in the chat while I'm trying to call CQ. And I must have left 3 or 4 minutes of a long pause. And I thought my frequency was going to get scooped up pretty quick. But I just said, hey, is the frequency back in use if I had a 5-minute pause and nobody would pick up? And, I was able to pick back up. So there are, if it's not those busy days, I guess you can get away with something like that. But where it's a weekday and everybody's out there doing POTA, I'm sure it's probably tough. Okay. Well, with that, you guys in the chat, obviously we heard from Grouch there, but anybody else, have a little bit of 2 cents they want to throw in there? If not, definitely let us know in the chat, and we'll share it with you guys. So that's the POTA Minute. And with that, let's talk about some of the other things that we want to get into before we get into our show notes. So just to kind of rephrase and reset again, guys, those that, were watching the live stream last week, again, my apologies. Sadly, we struggled a little bit and couldn't get all the content out there. And we had a lot of giveaways lined up. And so Shannon and I kind of talked in the background, said, hey, let's just repick this back up again. We'll do this in our next Friday stream. And so this Friday, we're going to obviously talk about a lighter topic. It's kind of more of a how-to. And in between that, we're going to pepper in a bunch of different t-shirt giveaways today that we were all going to do last week. So buckle in and get ready, because there's opportunities to obviously win things like POTA runs on Duncan, which I love this t-shirt. This print came out so freaking awesome. Again, this is an AI kind of, created image there, but I am super psyched to see some of this stuff. Good morning, Hamman CT. I could see you in there. And actually, before we kind of get into the topic, hey, do another quick roll call, because we've got a bunch more people in here.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention something that James KI5OEB said too. But so we got Hamman Connecticut dropped in. We got November 1, Oscar Grouch dropped in. Hi, Paul. Can't wait to see you at Hamvention. Let me see. We already got James, and K9JPP Joe, my friend, dropped in. But he said he's not going to be at Dayton. So, boo. I'm so sad. I'm going to miss you, Joe.
I didn't get a tear. Jeez. Okay.
I see you every week on the air.
I know.
And then Chris Collins, manager 5195 N3WER at work, popped in. So, and I think that was everybody. But yeah, so the thing that I wanted to mention that that James KI5 said, and where did it go? Oh, now Mike N2MAK said, hey, Hamman CT. So Mike is in there. Good morning, Mike.
Cool.
So you can't just call like so fast and be like, CQ POTA KC1OHC, goodbye.
I don't disagree.
You have to call long enough to actually make a blip on the waterfall, or call long enough so that, like, if somebody doesn't have a waterfall and they're doing their slow moves, Ellie, across the band, they're going to hear your voice, they're going to hear your modulation, and they're going to have time to tune you in. And speaking of which, that actually sort of segues into something. If you guys are members of the, Live Free and Ham Discord, then you know about my drama with trying to get the 891 and the ATAS 120 working in the Subaru. And I've had this radio set up in the car for like a year and a half now, and the ATAS never really had that great a performance. Well, I tried to drill into the body panels myself. That didn't work. But I had my my mechanic, my favorite mechanic, Scott from Westland Auto. Hi, Scott, if you're
Not sponsored.
watching. Not sponsored. But so he, because I had to get a wheel bearing fixed on the Subaru anyway before I drive, 866 miles each way to and from Ohio, I was like, look, Scott, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I have these grounding straps. Can you please put them from the hinges on the hatchback to, the body of the car to the hatchback? And if you could put them on all four doors and the hood too, that would be great. Apparently that was asking too much, because he looked at me like I was a crazy person. But he did put them from the hinges on the hatchback to the hatchback. So I think there's a good electrical connection now to the body of the car, to the hatchback where the ATAS 120 is mounted. So it actually is tuning better. It's getting much better SWR now. And I made contact with a POTA station in Wisconsin yesterday while I was actually True Mobile on 20 meters. So that was pretty
Driving?
good. Yes, I was driving, but I was using the small moves Ellie method. I went to like the bottom of the band, and I just was slowly turning the thing as I was driving, and I was listening for the vocal modulations. And then when I would hear something, I would stop and listen for a while and see what it was. And I heard some, there was some special event stations out there. It was like I don't know, I can't remember if it was Italy Zulu or Lima Zulu 100 Lima Zulu, something like that. There was a big special event station that a lot of people were calling. They had a pile up. There's a few POTA stations out there. So I'm excited. Now I might have to go and try to do the rest of the bonding straps myself, or,
It's not super challenging, but your bonding stress. Well, it doesn't matter whether you have eyelets in them or not, because you could literally just
yeah,
ferret the.
they do have eyelets, so.
Yeah, so good on that. You might want to make them a little bit bigger with the drill bit, because the bolts, like for the hood to the body panels, are going to be obviously a little bit bigger and thicker. But the one thing I would recommend when I did with my install is basically grind down the paint around the bolts if they have the paint on them, because it will help in terms of making a better body connection.
Well,
and then the last one,
I got serrated washers to go under.
That would work too. I mean, if you get a little Dremel tool from your craft stuff, that'll little tip will take off a little bit of paint, no problem, and you're good to go. The other thing too is grinding your exhaust. So buy like an exhaust clamp at like a automotive like parts store, and then tie one of the ground clamps to that exhaust, and then the other one to your body frame somewhere, and you'll definitely get a lot better, or less, we'll say, issues with RF from like your alternator wind and that type of stuff. So
maybe should I just bring tools with me to Dayton, and like maybe I can kidnap Grouch for a while. Grouch, can I convince you to work on my car in Dayton? Let me know.
I'm sure he'll love that. He's going to Dayton and he's jumping. So yeah, sure, why not? He'll fit that in somewhere.
That's right. He has to jump out of an airplane. So
Yep.
Is he going to be making contact with kids on the youth rally?
Probably.
Oh,
Yep. You'll have to head over to Weekend Warriors to find out more about that for sure.
I guess so.
He will definitely be, parachuting mobile. Parachuting mobile. It's not really, it's not really mobile, but it's fine. So yeah, keep that in tune and in check. Him and Carlos, I guess, are running off. I don't have all the details. He could definitely fill you in. And so head on over to his channel and check him out there if you want to get more into, making a contact. He said it should be pretty fun. It'll be double the pleasure this, Dayton season this year. We'll have 2 people jumping. So
yeah, that's going to be super exciting. Then, like Carlos is Miles's hero, right? Because Miles met Carlos at Hamvention, and then Carlos jumped out of the plane, and Miles got to make contact with him while he was parachute mobile. He was so excited about that. And then he was even more excited that he got to see a video of it after, where Carlos was in the air and he could hear his voice and my call sign and everything. And then Carlos is such a great guy. He hand wrote out a QSL card and brought it to Miles on Sunday before we left. So Carlos, I love you. You're awesome. You're great with the kids. And now Miles will have another hero to add to the list of N1OG. So that will be cool.
Very cool. Yes, he says special jump for the kids. So keep that in mind. And if Grouch is so inclined and he wouldn't mind, if he knows the schedule roughly, if he could head over to the Discord and post into Brew and Activate with the crew there, you can check out hopefully some of that information there. Either way. And so with that, just, hey, before we get into our topic, just a quick reminder again, ad rules are off. So if you want to help support the channel, again, we're trying to keep this conversation rolling without basically interference from any of the YouTube annoying ads. So definitely help support the stream there. Super chats are a great way to do that. And again, no pressure at all, just to make sure you guys want to hang out and enjoy a Brew and Activate however you can. So, all right. So today we are talking, and we're going to talk AI today, but we're not talking AI as to the pros and cons, whether it's good or bad, or, whether you're paid or not paid. The idea is that I want to kind of use it as a tool. I'm always about, coming up with better ways to, do better activations, do better, equipment configurations, radio, learning antennas, and propagation. And so we're going to kind of take it to that level. And so if you're here to do that debate, well, let me encourage you. If you haven't been over to Grouch's channel, the November 1 Oscar the Grouch, or Grouch in New Hampshire. He's got Weekend Warriors, and they're talking AI this Friday. So if you want to, which is actually today, so they're talking tonight, I should say. Grouch, if you want to throw the link in there for your show, it would be greatly appreciated. You can head over there and talk, and debate the merits on AI and whether it's controlling or not controlling, or whether it's good or bad. But with that, we're going to use it as a tool today. And so I wanted to come up with a way, and I will say, took this really far in terms of, how I use AI, but we're going to give you some very concrete, practical ways you can use AI to be able to get the information you need to be able to make a better call on your activation. And, that's the idea, is that is there a way that you can kind of get some magic capabilities that you can write a quick, sentence or two, throw it at AI, and AI can spit back saying, hey, this is your best scenario, and give you basically a itinerary or a quick bullet list of things that will help you get better or be able to make the best attempt in the time frame you're going to operate in. And get you a little bit more familiar with using AI as a tool in ham radio instead of letting AI take over ham radio. So with that, we're going to give you, and we're going to talk a couple of repeatable prompts. So by the end of the today, I will have, a couple of, we'll say, phrases that you can cut and paste. I'll have them posted up in the POTA field guide. So if you've never been over to the wiki, that URL here is in the chat. So you can head over there anytime. All of the script prompts will be there, and you can tailor that and tweak it the way you want. But the idea is, I'm hoping by the time we finish this today, I've got a kind of a surprise release too that I've been working in the background, because I am not one to, basically leave good enough alone. And I kind of created a dashboard, an automated dashboard that's going to be evolving over time. And the idea is that if people, see the benefit in this stuff like that, then I might release it to the public, let folks play around with it. But it's kind of, for me, a quick glance kind of tool, or, a way that I don't have to go to 9 different resources and then put that all together in using my brain. I can see it on a dashboard, just click refresh, and it allows me to get the data I need to be able to decide, hey, 15 meters is better than 10 meters today, or whatever be the case. So there we go. So with that, Shannon, when you go out to activate, are you planning any of that? Like, do you plan your activations? I sort of know your MO, your operation, but, share with those in our audience here, are you the type of person to go out and do any strategy in terms of bands, and propagation and planning, or do you just kind of figure it out when you get there?
Well, I mean, my plan is always to activate on the highest band possible, right? Like I just said in the chat there, because Handman CT was talking about 1010 International. And I always forget to ask people for their 1010 number if they have one, because in order to join 1010, you have to have like 10 contacts with 10 people on 10 meters that have 1010 numbers or
Sounds
something
like an
that.
elitist gatekeeping club, but whatever.
I forget what it is, but I stopped at the 1010 table at Hamvention last year because one of my first contacts way back when I got licensed was on 10 meters, and it was someone that gave me their 1010 number, and they sent me a 1010 QSL card. It might have even been on a 1010 net. I can't remember, but I would love to join 1010, and I got to remember to ask people for their 1010 numbers when I'm making contacts with them. But yeah, so, I always want to try to be on 10, 12, 15, 17, and like avoid 20 at all costs, because I don't know, just for some reason, everyone, they flock to 20 and they forget that the other bands exist, and that drives me crazy.
Well, there you have it.
So usually what I do is, I got this bot from HRCC, but it is free to put on anyone's Discord server that they like, but it's called Hambot, and you can put in the command like /COND, and it will show you the conditions. It shows the A level, the K level, the SFI, the SN. So it tells you,
Well, it does, but in essence, it doesn't give you more detail to be able to say, hey, if I go for this time frame and I'm operating at this power level and I'm running this type of antenna, like you still have to do all of that in the background, right? You have to do that calculation in your head.
Well, I only have one antenna that I use for POTA, so
Only one antenna? What type of ham are you?
well, although I did get that Reliance antennas, what was it? End-fed half wave for 40 meters. So,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
thank
yes, a
you,
sponsor.
sponsored, tortoise.
Nobody's supposed to know that.
And you got some really good Kevlar wire with that one too, if I recall.
Yeah. So, so I do have that. It's just, I don't like to use wire antennas in the field so much because I have a hard time getting the antenna in the tree myself. And like
You have a mast, right?
and I mean I do, but I don't bring it with me. Um,
What? My gosh, this is like, oh, the truth are coming out, my friends. Like I thought Shannon was the most prepared ham. Like everything existed in the trunk.
I mean, I have a mast, but my mast is like zip tied to my porch because I usually use it at home, but I don't really bring it with me, and I don't have like a drive over mast stand or anything like that to hold a wire antenna
Do
up. So
you have a hitch off the back of the Subaru?
it does not have a ball hitch, no.
Okay. Wow. We have a
Um,
lot of work with you.
I guess so. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's the story with that. I mean, the Hambot does tell you like if, for day and night, it'll say like, oh, 10 and 12, good, fair, poor, good, fair, poor. So, but then, as we learned, that is not always indicative of actual conditions,
100%.
right? Because when Paul and I went out, everything was red, everything was poor, and we had a really great POTA. I had the day last week, I think it was last Monday or Tuesday, that everything looked good on paper, and it was a struggle to get, 10 contacts. It took me like 45 minutes, 50 minutes to get 9 contacts on, what was it? 15 meters, I think it was.
But
And
how did you come to the realization you needed to be on 15 meters when maybe 12 or 17 could have been a better band?
because
Wouldn't it?
because when I listened on 10 and 12, there was no signals.
True, but so it boils back to, if you had those pieces of information already presented to you very quickly and you could make a better judgment, you decide, hey, I should bring my wire antenna, or hey, I should bring my 25 foot whip instead of my 17-foot whip, and maybe I should run 100 watts instead of QRP today, kind of thing, or on and on. So I'm hoping through Shannon's example that, the stuff I'm going to show you today, it'll give you that one more opportunity to be able to be a little bit better of an activator, with the idea that, you can expand on this down the road. And I kind of took it, like I said, at the very beginning of the show, to the nth degree, with the idea that I just had something I could one click, provide a couple of quick details at like time, power, radio, antenna, and I'm off to the races. So we're going to get into it, but before I do that, we have I think I saw a super chat come in there.
So yeah, we had a super chat from James, KI5OEB. So thank you, James,
Very
for
cool.
that. We love you. Thank you for supporting the show.
Sweet.
And oh yeah, any band but 20 meters. Thank you, James. Thank you for the validation. And then the other thing that I wanted to say, so Hamman CT said, I try to start low in frequency, then move up. So, I mean,
Okay.
so I start high in frequency and I move further down. He starts low in frequency and then moves further up. So, I mean, that's
That's a technique you've developed on your own because you didn't have something that you could relate to very quickly. So I get it. That's a good skill to have for sure.
But yeah, I mean, especially where like, I'm the kind of person that I'm going to go out on the POTA and I'm going to spend a few hours out there in the park, right? Like, I know you are sort of that like lunch hour POTA guy that
The slam bam, thank you, ma'am. Get in there and get out.
Yeah, that needs to get his 10 contacts as quick as possible. So, yeah, you need to know what band am I going to be on at what time and how am I going to get her done?
That's basically another T-shirt in the works right there. Get her doing.
Oh yeah. Okay, there you go. So there's a new T-shirt idea.
Yes.
I'll
Okay.
have to talk about my new T-shirt line
Yeah.
that will be
So
coming out soon.
you've already opened the floodgates, so you might as well just roll into it because we haven't talked about the AI stuff, and we've got a couple of giveaways anyway, so it might be good to start there. So go ahead, talk about your thing, and I'll set up the giveaway screen here real quick.
Yeah, so I came up with this idea for a new T-shirt line, and I really should have had it done before Hamvention, but the idea came to me kind of late, and I'm slowly working on it because as I come up with the idea, then I'm coming up with more ideas to go on top of the ideas, right? So
Right.
and especially so part of the reason why I'm coming up with this idea is for Miles, right? So for anyone who doesn't know, I have a 7-year-old son. His name is Miles. He's sort of ham curious right now. He's becoming more ham curious. He went to Hamvention last year. He's going to be at Hamvention this year. He has made a few POTA contacts using my call sign and also the different club call signs. And so he loves this little shirt that he got from our good friend Ron K9ID. If you know Ron, he goes to all the major ham fests. He makes the hats and the t-shirts. It says text messaging in the 1800s, and then it has Morse code, and it has LOL in Morse code. So Miles loves that shirt. He thinks it's so funny. He really likes Morse code, as most kids do find it fascinating. So I decided to come up with this line of shirts that say, like, my mom is radioactive, and then has a mom using ham radio. And then I was like, well, maybe I should make him one that he can wear in England that says, my mom is radioactive, because of course in the UK they call mum. So then I made that as a shirt. And then I was like, okay, let's make my dad is radioactive. And then my son is radioactive, and my sister is radioactive, and my daughter is radioactive. And then I was like, I can make my papa is radioactive, my nana is radioactive, and have, the image in the middle is always, a person using ham radio. So someone who's a mom, a dad, a son, a daughter, a nan, a gran,
What a, what
papa.
about what about mother-in-law and father-in-law like Mill and Phil?
I mean, it could be, right? The possibilities are endless. So I'm in the process of making those shirts and designs and putting them on youth t-shirts, and then also youth onesies for the little babies. Imagine a little baby in a little ham radio onesie. It's so
No, can't. But anyway.
so and then like the possibilities keep coming, right? Because then I'm like, I have to represent different different types of people, right? People with darker skin tones, lighter skin tones. So if you would like to see my blank is radioactive shirt, drop me your idea in the chat and I'll try to make it happen, and I'll get it up on the Live Free and Ham store.
There you go. Under KC10HT merch. So very cool. And so with that, we'll segue into our first giveaway. So we'll start this thing out really with a bang here. So this one's our POTA Runs on Duncan t-shirts, which I am proudly wearing today. And this one, we're going to be doing a giveaway while we're diving into the topic today. So let's fire up that giveaway engine here. And so the keyword for today's first giveaway, which is the dunk shirt, is dunks, all in caps. And so make sure when you put it in the chat, you're using the pound sign dunks, and we'll start to see things rolling here. So
And
feel
it has
free
to
to
be all capitals.
Yeah, all capitals. Yeah, it's very specific. So with that, cool. Yeah, looking forward to it. So the keyword is pound sign dunks, and if you want to pick one up yourself.
Yeah, so that is mostly what I use AI for. I know we were sort of talking about this before the show. Eric was asking me, what do I use AI for? And it is mostly for making graphics for stickers
Memes.
and yeah, stickers and t-shirts and images for Discord logos, things of that nature. Although I did tell him I started to use it to kind of like try to plan the trip to England, right? And I asked AI, like, knowing everything you know about me so far, because of course AI can draw from, the entire interweb worth of information about me, I'm sure. But, and I've told it enough stuff about me that I love ham radio in England and this and that. I said, like, can you make an itinerary for my trip to England or something like that, or tell me what to pack for my trip for England? And then Eric was like, well, you didn't tell it where you were going. You didn't tell it when you were going. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. You didn't help out AI very much. But now I've actually made up a little bit more of an itinerary for myself on where we're going to be and when. So I might feed that itinerary into ChatGPT just to see what it comes up with. Sometimes I throw stuff at ChatGPT just to see what it does. Like yesterday, I started talking to ChatGPT in like British slang just to see what it would do. But it
Very cool.
wasn't very talkative, it used to be really talkative when it would like make your images. Now it's just like bam, make an image for you.
Well, that's
And I'm
because
like,
people have short attention spans and they can't,
I'm like, I want some conversation with my AI.
Do you want to like have a conversation like, hey, how's your day going while it's busy working in the background kind of thing?
Yes, okay. Listen, if we are not kind to our AI robotic overlords, they will spare me because I was kind to them.
Okay. Yep. You go back and watch The Matrix again.
Yes, they won't
just a
turn
loop.
me. They won't.
They're gonna reboot the program again, and we'll just do it all over again and be like, "What? I felt like we've been here before." Here, take your blue pill.
They won't turn me into a battery if I'm nice to them.
You already are, my friend. That's why we do ham radio. You're technically a battery of playing with batteries, which is a really mind-blowing thing if you think about it. All right. Well, that is humming along in the background. We'll get to that back in a second. So again, I think you have to be, and actually, Shannon, did you type in from your chat or my chat for the keyword? And I can't remember if you have to be in both or you have to just be in mine. So if you want to be 100% sure, just hop over to my chat there and put it in there. But I think it should try it either way. But Shannon, do you see the keywords in yours?
I mean, I do see people typing keywords in my chat. We got the Hillbilly Ham and Gamer Kid both wrote it in my chat. Are they
want to make sure?
The list?
Let's go over there real quick. We can check here. So where is my stream giveaway? There we go. Boy, let's just see who's scrolling by here. Come on. All right, let's just keep making sure.
You need Gamer Kid and the Hillbilly Ham.
Okay, Hillbilly Ham came through. And Roger, so I think...
I just saw Gamer Kid.
Okay, all right, cool. So you can be in either chat. You can be in either chat, doesn't really matter, so that just confirms that. So heck, we're amateurs here, we're just learning. All right. So let's go back to my screen here real quick. Where did that go? Why is this all messed up? Everything's shifted on me again. What the heck? Okay, so that's the two-rule call. Here we go. One more screen. Where is it? Is that it? Nope.
We should make that POTA runs on Duncan into a sticker.
We could.
I think that would make a good sticker.
I don't disagree. Okay, where did that go?
What do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer stickers or T-shirts? Let us know in chat.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Just didn't show it. All right. Now that we figured out where we are here and we got everything sorted back out. Yeah. So I can do both the stickers. Like I said, we've got the N1J. We got the Brew and Activate stickers. So if you're going to Dayton, Shannon will have these. Make sure you pick her up from her. Say hello. And we'll definitely put together. I don't mind printing the POTA runs on Duncan stickers. Those would be kind of cool. All right, let's get into the topic. So I've got kind of two prompts we're going to do today. And then the last one's kind of my special dashboard that I wanted to show you guys to see what you can do when it comes to AI and some of the advanced things there real quick. So let's kind of dive in what we're going to be talking today. So idea here is that we're using AI as a tool. I'm not trying to feed the machine, have conversations, make it my friend, that idea. It's really just meant to be like, hey, I want this information. Give it to me in a very clear and concise way, and it's helpful and useful for me. And so that's kind of how I treat AI and use AI. And so I'm going to just kind of framework this out a little bit. I do use paid versions of the AI tools. And again, that's your choice. You can decide how you want to do that. I do it primarily both for, using it in my professional career and obviously in the, my hobby and ham radio space. Excuse me. So the idea is that the paid version will give you a little bit more, we'll say, latitude in being able to be more concise, more, point and targeted in your information. But the way I wrote this and the way this is, going to be sent out and you can use today, you can use it in the free version without too much effort and tailor it the way you want. And the idea is just to get you going, to get you understand how, it can give you feedback and whether or not that feedback's useful for you. And the idea is to really kind of walk away before you say, start your activation. So if you're like me, you might grab your coffee in the morning here, head over to, your computer to check a couple of emails. Well, you can then take this quick, templated, sentence here, change a few variables in it, to radio types, antennas, that type of thing. Throw it at ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can then give you the conditions and everything you might need to be as effective as you can, or maybe in your planning to put together a kit. And now I am not like Shannon. I have several bags. I've got different radios, different types, different powers, different configurations, different antennas. And then there's a lot of times I don't always said bring the right configuration with me. Like a vertical might be good in some cases, maybe an end-fed might give me a better reach, all of that. I want to have some way to be able to kind of quickly turn that around that I know that will give me, some place to start. And again, this is really just some place to start. This is not de facto. This is not going to be, written law because, obviously we know predictions are so crazy. But based off of the feedback that you're providing to the AI tool, it's going to be able to give you a better starting point, and you can figure out where you go from there. And then I'm going to throw out this last piece to see if you do try this, and I'm encouraging everybody to try this at least once before they go out and report back. Head over to our Discord. The link is pinned in the chat over at N1JUR. And you can definitely, let us know. Did it work? Was it way off base? Because as we all know, ChatGPT, and you might have heard from many people and many sources, ChatGPT tries to give you pat answers. It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, where like other tools like Grok and others will give you either stuff more kind of matter-of-factly or, very clear and concise. And, there are different ways to kind of leverage these tools. We're not going to get into that. So if you're just starting out with ChatGPT or just in AI in general, try this, see what you get back for a result, and then do a little bit of homework on, which tool better fits your lifestyle, because there are many of them out there. They all do different things. And as Shannon alluded, she uses it for creating AI images, the stuff that I use here on Brew Activate. I don't always create all of these. I come up with the concepts and then I just tell it to, add the little beautification items here and there and branding and stuff like that. So this stuff here is already, kind of generated AI stuff as well. And it's, it serves the bill for me in terms of visuals. So that is kind of what we're doing. We're providing a bunch of key variables in this configuration. So this template, this sentence here is going to give you, or basically give you a cut and paste thing. You're going to fill in the fields. And then those fields, you feed it to AI, and AI will spit back something. And so we're going to get into that real quick and walk through an actual example. So these are the 5, items that the template's going to cover. It's going to ask for your location, and you're going to put in your city and state, or where you might be going to if you've got a general address. But I'm sure probably if you're traveling for POTA or whatever, you're probably not going to be traveling, halfway around the world. But again, it's flexible enough that you can put in where you're going to be destinated, and it'll be able to base it off of there. It's going to ask for your date and time window. What time are you operating at? Are you going to be doing this as a future dated thing? You can future date it if you want to. It's going to ask you your radio type, so you put in the manufacturer and the model, and then your power level. This is a key critical item because ultimately it's going to help you in understanding what you're going to play, what you're going to do, in terms of the band conditions based off of whether power level is going to play a factor into that. And then your antenna, and be very specific with these things because it helps the AI understand models and, configurations and whether it's a wire versus a, vertical, that type of stuff. There are other things that you can also play around, and we're going to get into some of the advanced things. You can kind of do scenario-based type stuff. So if you wanted to kind of tweak things to a place that, hey, I want to see what this would do if I brought this equipment versus said equipment here. And so we'll get into that in a bit. And then that's going to feed it into AI, just like you would normally have a conversation or, creating a paragraph sentence. It'll spit back all the data. And then that data, we're going to go through the example of exactly what it provides. And you might be surprised because it might be some very useful information. And it's very clear and it's very useful in the sense that you can now prepare for most scenarios and, the gotchas from time to time based off of when you're going to go. So let's, before we do that, let's go over to the giveaway screen here. And so let that catch up a little bit. And again, those that are just here in the chat, if you haven't already thrown in, whether you're on Shannon's chat or my chat, you can throw in the code or the keyword of #dunks, all caps, to get in on the drawing for the POTA Runs on Duncan t-shirt, which is what I'm wearing here today. Great shirt. I mean, I love this thing. It's actually really good. And the printer we use actually does really good with, the prints, and they wash really well. So I've washed this thing like 3 or 4 times already. And it's been, still holding up.
Yeah, they stand up really well.
They do. All right. So with that,
give it away now.
Hey, now.
Don't want to get unmonetized.
Well, as long we can fight that one. All right. So let's go ahead and hit the start button here. Let it run through. And who is our winner today for the POTA Runs on Duncan? And all right. Foxtrot Fred, woohoo!
Foxtrot Fred, congratulations. So you got to let us know, what your call sign is if you're good on QRZ.
Well,
so we can
do this. Do me a favor, just send an email to, and I'll put the email address here real quick. It's really easy. It is, let me go into, where's the chat? Why did the chat go away? Come on. Oh, there we go. All right. Just send it to Eric at n1jur.com. Send me your shirt size and the favorite color you want. If you want to see what the colors are available, you can head over to livefreeandham.com/shop. Check out the colors there and let me know, and we will ship that out to you once I get all that information. So again, it's Eric at n1jur.com. Real easy. Should be no problem. And so again, congratulations, Foxtrot Fed.
Yay.
All right.
I think he said he was in Worcester.
Ah, wow, cool. That'll cost me more than to ship it for halfway around the world. This is where having, supply on hand would be better, but it's totally fine. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so let's put that a pause there, and let me flip things around here so that goes away. And let me do one more thing here. I just want to set this up so I don't go ahead and trigger it real quick. Where was the second keyword that I wanted to put in here? Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. Man, I hate that you have to do this twice in 2 different places. Okay. All right. So let's go back to my screen share here. Okay. So continuing on. So our example first. And so let me kind of go over the details. So this is the prompt that I've created. And the prompt itself basically says, act as an experienced HF operator. And so those that are not familiar with AI, you kind of have to give it some context. So you got to kind of tell it what it needs to be or behave like to be effective in terms of the information you want to get back. The less vague you are, the harder it is to, then you start getting into Shannon's conversation about whether the color's blue or red, or, whether they like flowers or, whatever be the case. It's kind of one of those things that, you're very clear and concise in your delivery of your statement. It'll help you in the long run of getting the information back. And it's going to basically say, act as an experienced HF operator. I'm planning a POTA activation, or you could do soda, you could do tiles, you fill in the blank. And then at that point, you're going to have 3 or 6 different criteria that are changeable. And so basically, wherever you see the brackets of whatever it is for the variables or the data you need to put in, you're going to put that data in the field. And so you're going to put your location that you're traveling to or operating from. You're going to put in today's date. If you want to do today's date, you can do future dating. I haven't played too much with the future dating stuff because obviously they aren't the crystal balls, so they aren't able to predict. But you could also do it and level up a little bit. If you put a past date in, you wanted to see, you know, what the conditions were, because now it's already passed. You can kind of use that to your advantage to do a little historical analysis. But put in today's date, and then your time window. And again, be concise. You can do UTC, you can do your local time. Just use either CTD or, you know, ETD or, you know, West Coast time. Put the start and end times, and you can be broad as you want, because it's going to use those components to be able to build you a good, you know, flow of where and how and what and why. And then the equipment section, you know, provide your radio model, and you're going to do this couple of different ways, especially if you're going to bring a couple different radios. So you want to compose this sentence or this prompt separately for each of those radios if you're doing different type of models. Again, power and antenna type. And antenna type is important to be very specific in the nature. So don't you can be vague. Like you can say, hey, I'm bringing an end fed 40 through 10, you know, with setup in a inverted V, or set up as a sloper or whatever. Or you could be very specific. I'm using a Reliance antenna, you know, 40 through 10 with 26 gauge wire instead of 22 gauge wire. I'm going to be setting this up on a mast in a vertical orientation or the sloper configuration. You know, provide those details, because then it can properly, you know, gauge, you know, what it's going to be able to provide you for, you know, more usable and, you know, kind of recent and you know, informal, recent data is basically what we get. And then at that point, you're going to say at the very beginning, and you can add to these bullet points as you kind of get used to this, you know, prompt. You can say, summarize the current HF propagation conditions and recommend the best 2 or 3 bands, the best modes, expected performance, a simple strategy to get 20 contacts, which you can put that in there. I threw that in. There's just an option, because I operate, like Shannon says, I operate in the slam bam, thank you ma'am approach. I try to get in and get out as fast as I can because of time and, you know, where I'm at. But you can stretch that out. You can say, hey, I want to get 150 contacts, or I'm going to be operating for 4 hours or whatever. You know, basically give that. And then you can include, hey, you know, give me a backup plan if conditions are poor for whatever reason. And it'll know that based off of looking at all the indices, you know, whisper and all of those data. And then that last part, again, is not part of the prompt, but you can include it. It says, keep it simple, practical, and focused on real world operating decisions. And again, that is really just for someone who's not going to want to sift through a lot of the, we'll say, complex data. Like when you get the K indice is 6 and the you know, A indice is 100, you know, it's going to skip over that or summarize that into a way that's, you know, more common kind of format, and that kind of helps you know, provide you something very quick and dirty to read. And then that's going to chew on it for a little while. You can you know, take a couple of seconds, sip a coffee, and then it'll spit out the best top 2 or 3 bands, the best modes, the expected performance, your activation strategy, and then the backup plan. And it's pretty good. So we're going to dive over to my screen share here real quick. And I will bring up my screen share for where is the ChatGPT? There we go. All right. So we all see the ChatGPT there. Good. Okay. So I am going to go grab my prompt here. Where did I put it? Do so much text. So with that, any comments or anything in the chat while I'm pulling that up, Shannon?
No, I don't think there have been. Let me see. Sorry. I just, I dropped an invite link to Adventures in Wonderland for anyone who works, lives, plays in one land. So we got a couple people that joined over there. So thank you. Hamman CT joined, which I'm really glad to see. Let's see. KB5UTY Dave said, man, N1JUR likes to hear himself talk. LOL. Yes, he does.
Okay. ASMR it is.
And then, wasn't he complaining last week that we were too quiet? Make up your mind.
Yeah, I know.
And then we have Country James. I just go to the park and check the conditions when I get there. I never check the solar weather or the conditions online. The information has been wrong so many times. That is true, right? Like, I think maybe he wasn't here when I had mentioned, that time that Paul and I went out and I realized, hey, we never even checked the conditions and everything said poor. And then I was like, oh man, this is going to be such a hard POTA. And then it was like we had pileups. I made contact with like 5 different women that day, which you hardly ever hear YLs on the air. It was a great day on the air. So yeah, those, I guess somebody said, I don't know who it was, that sometimes those conditions they're not worth the paper that they're written on.
Well, again, we have to understand where they're derived from. It's not like, consider it sort of like the stock market. If you play in the stock market, there's no guarantees to anything. The information's only derived or based off of people doing the work and, the kind of the research to figure out whether or not a trend's going to happen or whether, something's going to drop or raise. Same thing goes with propagation. I mean, yeah, that's the best that these smart scientists could put together at the moment that they were doing it based off of the tools that we have. So is it going to be 100% accurate? No. But if you're into ham radio to be 100% dead balls to the wall accurate, this isn't the hobby for you because we all know that conditions can change. All right. So let's throw the prompt in here. So basically, I phrased it this way. So act as an experienced HF operator. I'm planning to POTA activation again. My location's New Hampshire. I was very vague in terms of this because I'm not going to a specific area. I gave it the date, operating time, because I usually operate between 12 and 3. I gave it my 891, 100 watts, and my Mad Dog 80-meter coil with a 17-foot whip. I could probably elaborate more on that, saying how many ground rails I'm using, but, again, your choice, and you can tailor this however you want. And then I said, go ahead, give me the best 2 to 3 bands, the best modes for the performance and the strategy. And so let's kick this thing off. And we'll go through it here real quick, see what it spits back at us. And so while that's doing that, let's head over to our giveaway, and we'll do the second one there. We'll come back to that second one. So this is a giveaway. Next is for, we're a little bit of a retro giveaway today here. This is Shannon's ham equipment t-shirt that she created herself. Go ahead, explain AI? A little bit. Yeah, explain a little bit of this. What led you there?
No, I can't. It was something on the show, which is where most of my, t-shirt ideas come from, is something that usually it just gets said like flippantly on the show. And then I'm like, oh, that would make a great t-shirt idea. So we must have said something about bum equipment one day. And then I was like, imagine if we had a ham equipment shirt. I think that would be really funny. So, I put it into ChatGPT and said, can you make a t-shirt in the style of bum equipment, but make it ham equipment? So it came up with this thing, and it even spelled everything right, which is like amazing how far the ChatGPT image generation has come. Because let me tell you, last year when I started the Adventures in Wonderland server, we were trying to make a logo for Oneland, and we asked ChatGPT to make a geographically accurate representation of the New England states with an antenna. It could not draw New England, and it was putting names of states in all the wrong places, and it cracked us up. We actually have a channel on the Discord now called like a cushionette, because like it just put all the names of like the states together and made one big state. It was very funny. But now it can make, I asked it yesterday again to make a logo for Adventures in Wonderland with a accurate map of New England, and it did it, and it put all the names of the states in the right places. I was like, yay, ChatGPT, they grow up so fast.
Well, so, you can encourage it by giving it positive feedback too, and it will love on you.
Yes, you have to tell it when it's doing a good job, because then it will keep doing a good job.
Data like, centers, computers, like not humans.
I'm telling you, if you tell it did a good job, then it will keep going and doing a good job. So
Here's your
anyway,
blue pill.
so it spelled everything correctly. It put like CQ, CQ, CQ. It put like, 7 3s and 88s. That ham equipment shirt is so cute. Miles actually wants one. So that's another one that I have to make in kid sizes.
Okay. Well, with that, there you go. There is the backstory and history of said shirt. So, if you want to get in, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Did you ever wear bum equipment shirts when you were, back in the day, when you were a Ute? Did you wear a bum equipment shirt? Let us know in chat.
No, I did not.
Does KB5UTY wants to know, does it come in black?
I don't think so. You'd have to look. You can go online at livefreeandham.com/shop and check out the ham equipment t-shirt and the colors available there. Shannon created it. I didn't have any.
I gotta check because sometimes the images don't come in good on different.
I assume on black it would have, but black's always a given.
So yes, it does come in black, and I will drop a link to Live Free and Ham. Don't ask me where that just came from. Live free and ham. Yes, we're being very proper here on
ham. Put the pinky up.
We're being very proper here on Brew and Activate.
Brew and Activate. It's tea and activate. It's tea and activate, not brew. We don't brew tea. We steep tea, or whatever you do with tea.
No, actually, I think steeping is wrong, and you're supposed to say brew.
Oh. Well, you can look that one up. Ask ChatGPT.
Yes, that's the kind of stuff I ask. Like, what is the proper way? Do you say brew or steep?
Oh boy, it's probably like, I'm so bored of this, Shannon. All right, yeah. And so, just real quick, I know Brickerhouse asked what's Fife. Well, Fife is my nickname. When you actually have a paid version of ChatGPT, and those that use it. Or actually just any AI in general, it's usually best to create a info profile, and that gives the the AI enough of basis to build from. So it's like a kind of a, hey, this is who I am. And it asks for like things like nicknames and stuff like that. So yeah, I threw that in there, and that's why it said Fife at the beginning. All right, cool. We'll let that keep humming along there, and we'll pause, jump back to the screen share here real quick. All right. And you guys can, again, a keyword there is retro, #retro, and you can do that in either chat. So let's dive back to see what AI and ChatGPT spit back at us today. So let me go through this real quick. It says, so for a midday POTA activation in New Hampshire with an 891 and 100 watts and a Mad Dog coil, you're actually in a pretty decent spot today. Again, this is ChatGPT blowing smoke up your butt, making you feel warm and fuzzy. Solar flux has been hovering around 120 to 140 with a K index around 2 to 3. So it's already kind of done the heavy lifting there in terms of math, which is good. Meets usable daytime HF conditions without major geomagnetic drama, which is nice. Your antenna setup is a big variable there, which is good. At least not, making me feel like I'm going to be making a boatload of contacts. He says the short-loaded whip will absolutely make contacts, but efficiency drops hard on lower bands. So that's good to know. The good news is you're at 891, helps compensate for that. And then it breaks out the best band. So it goes into 20 meters, your money band. Sorry, Shannon. But 20 meters in the middle of the day is usually a good band in general, just as you start to learn, the hobby.
Listen, I never said that 20 was a bad band, okay? I just want to clear the air on that. It's just, I don't get a lot of DX on 20. I get a lot of US on 20. And not that I don't love the people in the US. I do. I love everyone equally. But, I want to try to get that, European, UK DX.
Yep. And this might actually help you get there. So, obviously it says your primary band through till at least 3, as we probably very familiar with that. It says the FD layer is going to be solid. Excellent regional, national-wide POTA hunters, and so there's the key right there. And so this is stuff you have to kind of learn with ChatGPT is, the word choices that they provide you are important to pick up on. So regional and nationwide. So that is going to be, if you're like Shannon trying to get the DX, probably not going to work well for you for 20 because you're going to see a lot more stateside stuff. Your loaded whip will behave much better on 20 than 40 and 80, which we understand based off antenna characteristics and design. And then, it kind of just, again, blowing smoke up your butt saying, get spotted on pileups and get rolling. The performance, you're going to see East Coast is going to be loud. Midwest is very workable. South is easy, which I would agree with. I mean, my experience as I activate in the midday tends to see a lot of that same types of contacts and groups of contacts. So that kind of jives and kind of runs parallel to this. And then, you might see West Coast conditions possibly perk up and, you're able to stack contacts quickly once spotted. And then it gives you some frequencies for doing sideband, which, are pretty much the, general portion of the band. And then if you're going to do FT8, which is kind of obvious. And then this is where it gets into the next two bands. So after its analysis, it's decided that, 20 was the primary go-to band with 17 and 15 as a backup. And it gives you, the reasons why. And so this might, in Shannon's case, be more useful. If you were trying to shoot for that DX stuff, 17 is the place to be. It's telling you it's got better DX potential. Your whip can radiate better in that space, and the solar numbers will support basically what their, the findings are for that time frame that you're operating at. And then it will give you where you're going to see performance, EU, strong East Coast and Central. And then, it gives you a set of frequencies on sideband and FT8. And you can do this for CW as well as you tell it the modes that you're obviously operating. And I'll show you in some of the advanced stuff as we get into it a little bit, where that might benefit. Again, 15 gives you daytime openings, could be fantastic, which is nice. It tells you it's a possibility. You might get those openings. You might get an opportunity, but know that it's probably not going to be as successful or profitable at the other two options that it provided you for 20 and 17. Or 20 and 17. And then best modes. Well, if you're going to operate on sideband, great. If you're going to operate FT8, great. If you tell it in the prompt that you're operating on CW only, well, then it's going to give you a little bit different criteria and how you can best tune for, performance at that mode. And then, as I said, it goes into some more details where you get a quick breakdown. How you can start on 20 meters, calling CQ, which everybody understands that already. Again, this is kind of where the answers are a little bit more generic and generalized. The get spotted immediately, there's kind of helpful ways. You can, again, tailor that script or that prompt a little bit more to your liking to get more data out and play with it. Again, this is one of those things that I'm just giving you a starting point to work from, and then you can just feed the system, and the system will tell you exactly, what, you can get for propagation. And then this is a nice feature. This one I think I like a little bit more because it says, hey, if the conditions are crap, well, this is going to be something you want to try. 40 tends to be. And again, this is not, we'll say, magic, because in essence, a lot of the activators, the people that are out there doing ham radio a lot, already kind of know this and already have the mental stamina to understand, all of these things are automatically. So something like this might not be, useful to them because they already have that muscle memory. Anything in the chat there, Shannon, because I talk too much?
No, I was Prep Ham Paul came in. So hello, Prep Ham Paul. Always glad to see you. And no, I was just talking about Hamvention, and KB5UTY said he's going to be at the Seed Studio booth. So I was just going to type to him, but I guess I'll say to him now live on the stream that I am definitely planning to come to the Seed Studio booth. I have a T1000 that somebody gave me for free last year, actually. And I don't know if it's working right, but I've kind of been like on the fence of just getting an all-in-one mesh device that you can, has a screen and you can type on it. And, that way I don't have to have it tied to my phone. Right. I'm mesh curious, but like, I'm not exactly sure what people use it for aside from sending messages, but I know we have a pretty good mesh going on here, in the Northeast area. So yeah, definitely if you're going to be at Hamvention, go see KB5UTY at the Seed Studio booth. I know I definitely will be going over there to check it out for sure and learn more about mesh and what I can do with mesh.
Mesh. All right.
And we even have a channel on the Adventures in Wonderland Discord called Getting Meshy, Making Meshes. So if don't, what's so funny, Eric?
Yeah.
Do you know
I'll
what
leave it that. I'll
you
leave
want to
that
know?
one there.
You know what the name of our channel where I talk about packet radio is?
I can only
It's
guess.
it's called hitting up the packy.
For those that might not know what a packy is in your area of the word, it's basically the liquor store, but yes. And it's packet. It's not packy. But
That's
I
the
get the
joke.
play on words. I
Yes.
get the play on words. So, all right, very cool. All right, so this is the giveaway. If you just jumped in the chat and you're just picking us up right now.
Oh yeah, because Bob just came in the chat. So Bob, you got to make sure you enter the giveaway. Pound sign Octothorpe retro.
Optothorpe. Those are going to be really confusing for a few folks. Hashtag. All right. Very cool. Well, one more second here. But so I don't know. I'm curious. Those in the chat, let me know. Like, is this something that's useful to you guys? I mean, I like to come up with new ways to kind of tackle, some of the tougher things that we do in ham radio, try to make it a little simpler. So if, it's useful for you, let me know in the chat. I'm always curious to, let us know. So let's go ahead and hit that button there, since we got one more shirt before the end of the day. Go ahead, hit start. POTA. And today's winner is Roger McKinnon. There you go, Roger. All right, Roger, if you could do me a favor and send an email to eric@n1jur.com and just let me know your shirt size and color. If it's only one color, did we ever confirm that, Shannon? Just one color?
No, it comes in multiple colors. So check out the shop. It does come in black, blue, I think green, all the fun colors.
Okay, there you go. All right, and with that, just send me a quick email, Roger, and I will get that out to you. Reset this one here. Reset. Okay. Turn that off. Away. Turn it off. There we go. Silly tool. All right, let me just make sure that's all set up so we're good for the next giveaway there. And then, all right, so let's go back to our screen share real quick. And so how can we make this useful, I guess? And so here's a couple of things. You can tweak this answer to your liking, or this prompt, I should say, to your liking. And let's kind of change things around here real quick. So I'm going to retake my prompt again and throw it in here. And we're going to change up a couple different variables here. So I'm going to say in my prompt, instead, I'm going to stay the same operating time, same radio, and I'm only going to run, we're going to change it around. So I'm going to change my radio from an 891 to a FX4CR. So we're definitely running less than 20 watts, and I'll say I'm running max power 20 watts. And I'm going to use an end fed, we'll say Reliance will be specific. Antennas, end fed, half wave. Actually, we'll do off center fed. And we'll do it. We'll say we'll do 40 through 10, and why not? On a 10-meter mast. Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna say the best modes instead. I'm gonna be operating on sideband only. And I want to make the most contacts in the time frame posted above. Okay, and then we'll leave the backups there alone. And then I'm going to go ahead and fire it up again. And we'll let it chomp on this for a little bit. And it's going to kind of go through the same conditions. And again, you all of these variables are all tailored, and you can add in, different changes here and there, based off of what your needs are and how you're operating. And so this basically, again, they're blowing smoke up your butt, but we changed the radio around, changed the power. We went to a different antenna, and where everything's all set up here. And so it gave me the same solar flux was roughly 115 to 145. And so if we do a comparison here, the original stuff at the top, if we have to go all the way at the top here, dang it. It said it changed things around. So again, it gave you a different prompt. And this is kind of the things you're going to find with AI is that the prompts aren't going to always give you the same data in the same format. As you kind of change the story around, it's remembering what you previously typed in and some of your history. And so it's taking all of that into consideration. And as you kind of work through the conversation, things are going to change appropriately based off of what you're looking for in terms of obviously what you submitted to and tell it. So let's go back up here. So it says the K-index, same thing, 2 and 3, solid on 20, good on 17, which we already agreed. And so this gave us a different criteria for, obviously the primary band was 20 meters again for the radio and the type of day, which just kind of jives in my mind. It said the propagation will be very reliable. POTA hunters live during the daylight hours. Your off-center fed will radiate efficiently. 20-meter sidebands, good. Again, the coverage is about the same, although I do see here that it brought in Canada, which we didn't see before, running on a vertical, which may or may not, if there's strong Canada stations, might come in on, say, a vertical, but be very in the noise otherwise. But Canada is going to be coming in, and you're going to see a little bit of EU through 1 to 3 time frame, which, in my experience, we're using my off center fed, but I tend to, see that same result. And then 17 meters, less crowded, which is always a good thing, especially like Shannon and others have alluded that, 20 meters does get busy. It's always kind of the go-to band, but, you might find more space on 17 to play with. It's a great band for DX. You can see an increase of reach out into the EU. And it's a clearer sounding band, which, tends to be a little quieter, a little less, impacted by noise. And then 15, again, gives you a couple of different options here: faster pileups, long distance skip, and lower noise floor. Now, the expected performance, well, this is kind of what it says is an easy mode compared to the whip. Again, putting up a wire tends to get more up in the air. You get more signals. You get to, use the benefits of the long wire. 20 to 40 contacts in that window, very easily potentially spotted, stronger audio reports. And a lot of those tend to jive. I'm sure that as I start to say this stuff, it's probably, things are clicking in your head. When you're doing your activations, you're seeing the same kind of things. And if you haven't done that analysis in your own head, like running a vertical versus an elevated wire versus actual long wire, that type of stuff, you might see those things kind of pop up as you start to do your own activations over and over again. Self-spot right away, all the typical criteria. And because we changed the variables or the options in the prompt there, we're not going to see an exact 1-for-1 and whatnot. And so the real world recommendation, which I think is pretty good here, start on 20, self-spot, stay there for 60 minutes, move to 17, try 15, and then only go to 40 if things collapse, which is actually a pretty good strategy. If you remember the Hunter and Activators series we did earlier with Brew Activate, we talked a lot about this stuff. Understanding, when to shift, when to, change bands, that type of stuff. This kind of just summarizes that pretty quickly for you. So now you've got a little bit of a plan. So when you go to a park, you can start, at 20 if you wanted and follow this, or you can kind of let your own mileage vary. I guess like everybody has said in the chat from time, here and there said that, hey, I just start on 15 and I figure out where I go from there. Well, this might give you a little bit more of a strategy to try and see if it works. What do you think about it, Shannon?
Yeah.
Going to change?
What?
Going to change your strategy, or
Probably not. But, I might have some more conversations with ChatGPT about radio.
I agree. That's probably a good idea.
I actually just signed up for, a paid version of ChatGPT yesterday because it told me I reached my limit on image generation. So I was like, no, I can't reach my limit. I still have so much work to do. So, and what I do is I have done the paid version before. So if I'm using it a lot, I'll turn on the paid version and then I'll just turn it off when I'm not using it. I do the same thing with Canva. I go through these spurts where I got to use Canva a bunch to, make the images, take out the backgrounds and stuff. And then I'll just pause it when I'm not using it. And if you guys aren't using Canva, somebody showed me Canva like years ago. And it is the best thing since sliced bread, let me tell you.
Don't get me going on the security risk with Canva, but yes, I use it too as well.
You and your security risk.
I'm in IT.
You're
This is
such
what I
a
deal with, kid.
you're such an Eric Downer.
Yes, exactly. IT downer. All right. Okay. So with that, so I don't know, guys, let me know in the chat. Is this something that is, interesting to you? Like, do you think it's very much going to be, you take it to, to incorporate it in your activations? Like, I know obviously Shannon may change some of that. She might actually be able to use it to leverage, more of her activations and trying to figure things out. So it's always good there, but I think it's a good start. And this is kind of what I was trying to do. Okay. So
Ted W1TED said, you can tell it not to compliment you, blow smoke up your butt. Other AIs don't spend as much time with the compliments. Apparently he missed the whole previous conversation where I said I compliment my AI. I give it, positive reinforcement when it's giving me the content that I desire. And I'm very polite too. I say please and thank you. So are you polite to your AI, Eric?
no, I am not, sadly. There are times when I fight with images and I just literally like give it both barrels because then it apologizes profusely and still then tries to be nice. And then at that point, I just turn it off.
Well,
and,
you know what? That did happen to me yesterday, actually, when I was making those images. It kept one of the images, it put a notebook and a piece of paper in front of the person operating the radio. It was for the one that I said, my mom is radioactive. So I was like, look at this. Google, they know me so well. They know that I love a paper logbook. So I didn't even tell it to put a paper logbook, and it put a piece of paper and a pencil. So then I said, can you change that into an actual ham radio logbook? So it did. ChatGPT did an awesome job making a ham radio logbook, putting date, time, frequency, mode, all that stuff. And it said logbook at the top. The only problem is that it kept putting the logbook upside down. So the words were facing out towards the viewer of the images instead of facing in towards the character of the mom using the ham radio. And I kept telling it, turn the logbook the other way, turn the logbook the other way. ChatGPT was not getting it. So I was like, you know what, ChatGPT, scrap the logbook idea. Just make it a piece of paper and a pencil because it's so much better.
For the love of God and all things holy, get the freaking book right.
Yeah, seriously. I don't understand why it's so hard for you to understand to turn the book around. And yes, Roger just said, Shannon is just hedging her bets for when Skynet takes over the world. Yes, that is exactly when the AI overlords come to take us. I want them to spare me and my son.
They are not. They're just going to reboot the program and then you're just going to take the blue pill again and everything will be good. All right. So with our last giveaway today, this one is for the activated, logged, and packed up tea off of Brew Activate. This came again out of one of our previous episodes. I can't remember what or where, but it was on my list of things to tackle. So we created this one with a little bit of help of AI for sure. I have this one too. This is very comfortable. It's a very light t-shirt, very, POTA ready. I mean, I usually wear it most of the time when I go out in POTA or just in general. I know I wear it around the house on weekends and my wife's like, I'm tired of seeing that shirt. So with that, let's do the next giveaway, and that is going to be ALP. So # hashtag whatever that other third term, Optothorpe, ALP in the chat there to get in on the activated, logged, and packed up tea. And those come all a whole bunch of different colors as well as sizes. So you can always head over to livefreeandham.com/shop. Check that out. And as always, guys, just remember, we are keeping this ad free. So, those mid-rolls should not be rolling in. And again, the way you guys can help is obviously super chats are a way to keep us going here. And so I've got a super chat community goal to try to reach $20 here. And so those guys, if you can help out, definitely super chats are a great way to do that and keep this stream ad-free going forward every time we live stream. So, all right. With that, I am going to go back over to our screen share. And so I'm going to drop this really quickly because I have a interesting example here. And what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about this before I kind of show it to you. Those that know me know that I can't leave anything well enough alone. I always try to make it a little bit better and improve upon it or whatever. And so I didn't want to just have to keep throwing this at AI. I wanted to build for me, like if you look over the back of my head, I've got a geochron with a nice little purple frame around it or LED light behind it. I've got an automation built around that takes in a whole bunch of variables, both temperature and weather conditions, as well as band conditions and stuff like that. And it will change the color of the frame based off of those criteria that I've defined. We are very much, I love that because I literally can walk by. And so if it's freezing cold out, I will, it'll be a light blue. If it's, purple right now, it's the temperatures are right around hovering between 40 and 60. Anything above that, it'll turn hot red for, the temperatures as well as the A and K index. If the solar, if there's certain levels and whatnot, it'll change. So I'm always about improving that, but I need a dashboard now. And I wanted to be able to come up with a way that I could build this. And so I use Perplexity's computer. And so those that are in the AI space know. And actually, we got a couple of chats there. So, Shannon, you want to give a shout out?
We got to give a time out because thank you, KB5UTY Dave, for the $20 super chat. Oh my gosh, we are getting super chat hype right now. Hype
Sweet.
train.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So yeah, KB5UTY with the $20 super chat. Why not? LOL. Even though you talk way too much. Thank you for keeping the stream ad free, guys. We got $5 from Hamman CT, the Eric Fund. Always great content. So thank you, Hamman CT. And then we got from Bob, we got $9.99. I like ad free live streams. Everybody likes ad free live streams, and you guys just helped to give everybody ad-free live streams. So thank you so much, you guys. You guys rock.
Yes, very much so. I appreciate it, guys. And Dave, you probably talk as much about seed and Meshtastic as I do in general. So we're about equal toe to toe. So don't give me crap.
I mean, nobody has said I talk too much yet. And that is...
Hey, you haven't hung out with Shannon. She always, has always got something going on. Like Nearfest was phenomenal to hang out with you because I couldn't keep tabs on you for every 5 seconds. It's like, where's Shannon now? Oh, she's over here. It's like everybody in the Wonderland crew is like, we just let her wander and we'll eventually find her on the way. And it's like, this is awesome.
And I have to say, we made some new friends at Nearfest also. For anyone who was at Nearfest, we barely even talked about Nearfest. We keep talking about Hamvention. That's in the future. Nearfest is in the past. But we met Kartik and Matt, and I'm not sure what Matt's call sign was, but Kartik's call sign is where did he go on my list here? He is K1AKP, and him and his friend Matt are like both brand new hams. I think They only have been licensed for a few weeks, and they're planning on doing a hike in the Berkshires. I think he said, was it? No, it was Baxter State Park. That's what it was. I knew it was something with a B. So they're going to do a hike in Baxter State Park. They're going to do like a traverse, and they were asking what kind of radio they should get for, for doing portable soda. And I think they ended up picking up an 891 there at Nearfest for like $500. So really good deal. It was like very lightly used. So, and they joined Adventures in Wonderland. So I'm very happy to add them to the Hamily. And I hope that we get to meet up and do some more POTA activations, anytime, before we go to England, after we get back from England, or, they're one of the Hamily now, so they can't get rid of me.
Very cool. Well, and funny, like I think the best deal of all the entire Hamfest was my buddy Tim WM1H. He texted me. He's like, dude, I think I made out way better than the guy who got my radio. He had a Zygu 6100 with the battery and everything else like that, and he traded right out flat another guy for a 705. The guy's like, sure. I'm like, that's like the 6100 is not like a $1,500 radio. We all know like what it is and what it provides. It's a great little radio, but yeah, he made out with a whole bunch of extra, add-ons and stuff like that. And so I was like, dude, that's a nice little deal. I would become an ICOM, user if I had that fair even swap.
And we just got another super chat from Roger
Dude,
McKeon. Another
awesome, guys.
$20, man.
So awesome. Thank you, guys.
Have to steal a page out of maybe we're gonna steal a page out of Paul's book and have like the channel leader or something like that. You guys are rocking it with the channel hype today. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Everybody.
Appreciate it. Yeah, well, we'll definitely recognize you guys in a very special way for sure. You guys are all awesome and do so much more than I ever expect. So I'm very blessed. Thank you. So, all right. So let me kind of set the stage here while that's still humming along here. Again, if you want to get in on this next t-shirt here real quick, just so that if you missed out already, ALP is the keyword #, for the activated, logged, and packed up t-shirt. And so, that will let that run a little bit more. And so let's go back to what I'm going to talk about. So,
and Bob is asking a very important question. He said he's celebrating 8 months of membership. So thank you, Bob, for being a member for 8 months. He said, is Brew Activate going to live stream from England? Well, I guess we're going to have to figure that out, right? On, Fridays, what I'm going to be doing, because I'm going to be like 5 hours ahead of time. So when it's 10 a.m. here, it's going to be what? 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 3 p.m. there. I know that. I know the first Friday I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at the Tank Museum for Tank Fest. So I anticipate that I'm probably going to be somewhat busy that particular Friday, but there may be other Fridays where I don't have as much going on, or I might be on a POTA, so I might be able to either pop in, or I might be able to take a break from whatever fun we're having and get on the show.
Well, maybe that Friday that you're off in England at the Tank thing, I'll invite Dave on to come talk.
Yeah, you could do that.
Tell us all about Meshtastic. Very cool.
What is Traveling Ham is saying? I need to go to England just so I can catch one of these live. Why? Because it's 5 hours ahead? I'm confused by that comment.
Me too. I don't know. I'm still here stateside, so it's all good.
I am also still stateside.
Yeah.
And Jeff just came in. Jeff Wingit 5928. So welcome. Good afternoon. Traveling Ham. Also, first time I'm seeing you chat today. So good afternoon. And if you want to enter the giveaway for the activated, logged, packed up shirt, hashtag ALP.
Yep. There it is.
Not hashtag ASL like I did.
Had to be different. All right.
And if you know what ASL means, then let me know in chat.
I'm curious as to what ASL is in chat. I know what ALS is.
You don't know what ASL is? Were you never in AOL chat rooms back in the 90s, Eric?
That's the 90s. That's like how old for me? I couldn't tell you. I was in probably Usenet groups more than I was in AOL. Like, I hated the interface for AOL. I was like, just give me the internet connection, and then I'm going to go on all of my, BBSs and everything else like that. So.
Oh, everybody's guessing American Sign Language. Wow. Am I the only one who knows what ASL means?
You might be.
In an AOL chat, people used to ask that because they wanted to know your age, your sex, and your location.
Oh. It's sort of like the 3-letter acronyms you find on, Craigslist. You're lonely and you're looking for other companions.
Maybe.
I guess. All right. Well, I won't consult ChatGPT on that one because I had no idea. Well, I learned something new apparently because I always stayed anonymous when I was online if I possibly had to be. All right. Well, I don't know what the AOL were good old days, but they were definitely days for sure, Dave. Yeah, back to my I can't leave well enough alone here. So I took to my favorite tool, Perplexity computer. And so those that know Perplexity, it's a very, very powerful AI, at least in my mind, in terms of having a lot more, we'll say, reach. And, it is more matter of fact for me in terms of like, I give it what I need it and I tell it and it goes and does it and it comes back and I can do multiple streams. So I use AI, the Perplexity computer, for a lot of my work stuff and my channel. It does a lot of great heavy lifting. It's expensive because the tokens are a problem, like where Shannon ran into, like she has to keep throwing more, money at ChatGPT. Well, when you start to get into using the powers of Perplexity, your tokens start to, you're in the hundreds of dollars a month versus the $20 a month kind of thing. So yeah, I've been using that for a little bit because I was looking for a way to be able to merge all of this, like I said, similar to my little frame that's behind my head, a dashboard that I could basically have on a screen somewhere, and then I could run and just click refresh or provide a few credentials. And so I built this, or I should say I told Perplexity to build it for me. And so we'll bring it up here. Let me add here. Okay. And so this is what I'm calling my, we'll say, band conditions dashboard. And again, this is evolving. So let me zoom this up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better here. It is a full dashboard that is real time for me. And so I can just, as a moment's notice, click refresh. It also has an automatic polling feature. It goes out and pulls all the data from Whisper. It pulls the data from the spotting networks, pulls the data from the RBN, as well as a couple of other variables based off of, PS Career Reporter and things of that nature. So it is in progress. And so I built this kind of 3 days ago on the fly when I came up with the idea. And so I'm adding to it because what I want to do is create it to a place that I can provide exactly all the same variables that I showed you guys in the simple example, which was antenna, radio, propagation times, operating times, and things of that nature. And do it from a simple dropdown. So what I've done in here is that you've got some of the basic stuff, like where I'm operating for the grid square, how many I want to see for total spots on RBM networks, as well as the modes. I'm going to expand this beyond like antenna types and a few other variables. And so I'm always curious to see, if there's other things that you guys think I should add to this. Because right now it's currently in its private access to my Perplexity, account, but I could release this to obviously folks in the public to be able to use this but basically, you go in here, you can set your own call sign, you can change the zip code. So I'll just change it to my local zip code here. And the latitude and longitude. And again, the latitude and longitude is where you're operating or based off of, a home location. If you want to throw that in there, you hit save, and the system then will basically go through and calculate all of the best band intelligence here for what I'm looking to operate. So we'll start from the kind of top from the bottom. The top spots basically are pulling all the data based off of what I'm looking for being able to understand what the long path is, being able to understand the spotters that I see that the system sees based off the time frame that I gave it, the total number of spots, and then the band intelligence I'm going to hopefully expand upon, but this is kind of just a very high level set. These are where the bands are in terms of the condition at that moment. So I can see that 20 has got 36 spots currently it sees out there, and it's currently doing pretty well based off the strength meter and color code meter. As well as I can look at the other bands for 30 and 40 and say that I've got some various. So where Shannon, you don't want to have, the AI tell you, this is kind of just a quick visual. You can make a better assumption that, hey, I got to play with 30, 40, and 20 today when I go out to the park. And the nice part about this being on the internet and, being in, hopefully public one day, that you could basically plug this in and pull this data up automatically based off of where you currently are, and then be able to see, hey, I want to operate on 20 right now based off the location I'm at and so forth and so on, or I want to operate on 17 with FT8 or JS8 call. And so I'm trying to expand this a little bit more with the idea that I can eventually either let this out for somebody else to, basically build their own recipe from for their own use, or, maybe release this out here if, people want to, donate to the token, because the sad part when you're building AI apps is that there's a cost to them and we have to pay for them. So they eat into the token system. For those that know very much what that's like. When you were a kid in the 80s and 90s and playing in the arcade, how many more times did you want to get to the next level where you had to ask dad and mom for, 20 more tokens or, quarters? Same thing kind of goes with the AI space. We have to play that same thing. And so, yeah.
Prep Ham Paul had a question.
Yeah.
He said, I like this. Is there an FOF2 info for NVIS?
I could add that, actually. FOF2. NVIS.
What is FOF2?
I don't know what FOF2 is, but I know NVIS. So NVIS, basically, we can configure it that way. But yeah, that's another option that we can definitely add in there. And I'm always curious to see what people would love to see in this type of, kind of quick display. And so, yeah, as we're scrolling down here, Paul, if you can elaborate. No, Bob, I'm not going to let everybody use my Perplexity account, but we can get out there and share, this a little bit here.
Okay, the F layer of the ionosphere, the layer that signals bounce for NVIS.
Got it. Yeah, we could add that feature in for sure. All right. So let's go back up here. So yeah, from all the data it's pulling in, a lot of these tools aren't physically tied in quite yet to all of the APIs. I still have to kind of get that so I could get even more granular data, which is really, really nice of being able to pull this stuff in. But, it gives you a breakout here. So with the latest spots in the PSK reporter for, hearing my, call sign as well as just what's out there. And the RBN, and you can all tailor that. And then I wanted to bring in things like the weather because we all go out and activate. We never know if it's going to rain or whatever. I'm elaborating a lot of this stuff so we can see the temp, the wind speed, the humidity, and then get a kind of a general, touchy-feely, kind of weather report. And then these are some of the sources that it's bringing in. So as I start to add those, into the system, I'll be able to pull from those and tie in. And I want to, again, tie in more of the API components. So I'm really just not like doing, kind of background screen scrapes and calculations. It's pulling actual API data. So, this is what I built. And so this basically refreshes 3 times. It's on a four time day refresh automatically, and it could just put it on a screen and it sits there in the background. Or I can manually refresh it and tailor it in a way that, makes it useful for me. And I'm going to keep adding to this. But if you guys want to see some of this stuff, and then maybe you're a Perplexity user, I can give you kind of some of that, the steps in creating all of the code and everything else like that for your own use. And then that way, you don't publicize a public app out there and have people, get to a place where they're, eating up so many coins and tokens on you. So ham waves, yeah, good there. Okay, critical frequency. Yeah, I will have to, muff and luff might actually be a really good way to be able to describe that too. So awesome. Luff, LUF, very cool. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, with that, that's me. That's just me taking this and running with it. And so, hopefully this maybe inspires you to say, hey, this is the stuff you can do with AI. And use it in a way that's, not just for memes and images, although that's good too as well. So they're definitely available and tools out there that you can, make your ham career, your ham hobby that much more useful for you. All right. So last chance here, a couple more seconds. If you want to get in on this activated, logged, and packed up t-shirt, # ALP there in the chat, and then we'll run the chat for the last giveaway today. Dude, it's so awesome. I am so happy you guys, definitely. Hopefully this was enjoyable and good information and maybe get you going a little bit. I know AI can be scary and AI can be, let's not do that. But, if you treat it as a tool, it might go far for you. All right. Shall we kick off the giveaway?
Yeah, let's go. Give it away now.
I'm going to snip that clip out. All right, and the winner for activated, logged, and packed up is
Yay!
Very cool.
Wait, no, it wasn't Dave. Wait, what happened?
Oh,
I'm confused. What is happening right now?
no, it's Prep Hand Paul.
It was Prep Hand Paul. My thing, I saw Dave.
Well,
Why is
it's
still
slowed
spinning?
down. 3 seconds delay. I don't know. It's usually like 8 seconds on the internet latency.
No, I'm
All right.
looking at our stream right now, and the thing is still spinning. The winner is, and it's showing all these different names.
I got me. It says Prep and Paul where I'm at. And I'm looking on my live stream. It says Prep and Paul. So,
Oh, weird.
all right.
Okay, my screen
Congratulations,
is
Paul.
messed up.
Nice job. Do me a favor, just send an email, size and color to Eric at n1jur.com, and I'll get that out to you. And appreciate you guys playing along and being part. Okay, well, I think with that, let's go back to closing up shop here. Let's go. Yeah. There we go. All right. Well, yeah. I don't know. What'd you think, Shannon? Was it boring, dry, useful?
No, this was a great show. This was awesome.
Yep. Very cool. I do too. And, like I said, we love doing this stuff here on Brew and Activate. We always like kind of just playing it, stretching it, fooling around with coming up with newer ways to be better activators and being in the hobby. So, hopefully you guys can take this. I will have, like I said, this kind of script. If you want to just start getting into AI, I'll have it posted up on the wiki up at n1jur.com, and I'll throw that in the chat again. So if you missed it earlier, you can head on up there, and this will be up there and available. So you can pull this whole prompt down and start doing it yourself and tweak it. And I would love for you guys to try this out. Like I said earlier in the show, try it out. See, what you get back for results, and then go out and try it and see whether or not it actually jives, and see it actually the conditions that it said it was going to be at the time you did it. Did it come out that same way, or did it would just give you, a whole bunch of fluff and nothing really useful? And come on over to the Discord, share it with us over there, or post it in the comments below if you're watching this kind of after the fact and you're, you've tried it yourself. Let me know. Can we tailor this a little bit better? And then the last part is, if you like that dashboard and you want to see more on it, I'm willing to kind of tailor that more so it's useful for all of us. And then I can share out the recipes so folks can use it in their own, or maybe we can come up with a better way to, kind of let the Brew and Activate community use it, and get some benefit out of it.
And I just want to throw something out there. Paul said, Prep Ham Paul, that is, I paused The Boys weekly episode to watch, so it was that good. So if you like The Boys, Paul, and my best friend, Mike Golf Zero RFD, he also loves The Boys, but I haven't watched it. But if you know Humble Bundle, there is a Humble book bundle right now where you can get like all of The Boys comics for like $18 or something like that, digital EPUBs, or I'm not sure if they're EPUBs or if they're PDFs, but if you like The Boys, check out that Humble Bundle of The Boys comics. I love Humble Bundle. I've been using it for years. That's actually how I got Rust, like super cheap, back 5 years ago or something like that. I actually just picked up, there was a Humble Bundle of knitting books. So that's how I ended up. I went on there for the knitting books and I saw The Boys.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, any last bits you want to throw in there, Shannon? Are we good? Anything comments wise we missed? Obviously, we got that one, but I don't think anything else.
No, I think that's pretty much it. This
Cool.
has been, this has been like a great show, a long show. We went almost 2 hours. I could go for longer. We could be like, like Ham Radio Crash Course. We could sit here and talk for like 3-4 hours. If I said every little off topic thing that came into my head.
Well, that's apparently what I do.
That's why we work so well together.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Sure.
We have such a great boss-employee relationship.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh. You heard nothing here. I'm striking that. That is not the case. We are not, boss and employee. We are ham YouTubers, and I invited her on because, she likes this stuff. All right. Well, with that, heck, if you are going to Hamvention, then, Shannon's going to have the Brew and Activate stickers. So, seek her out if you want to get one of your own. She's happily going to be handing them out as much as she has in her grubby little hands. So looking forward to that, guys. I won't be there, but she will be repping
Yep. I'm
And
gonna have Brew and Activate stickers. I'm gonna have KC1 OHT stickers that I just ordered more because I nearly ran out at Nearfest. I did get a smaller size this time, so I don't know if you guys like them smaller or bigger. Smaller, they kind of fit in more spaces. Quiet, Eric. So I did
another clip.
order. I did order more stickers. They should be here on Monday. I have a fair amount of eyeball QSO cards left. So definitely find me if you want to get that. And either come into the Live Free and Ham Discord, or like I said, if you work, live, or play in Wonderland, join the Adventures in Wonderland Discord. We got to figure out like what is our official Brew and Activate talk-in frequency at Hamvention. I will have my Kenwood THD 74. I'll also have the prerequisite Baofeng. So I will be walking around with my HT looking for people to talk to and meet up with.
There you go. And maybe one day we'll get you an all-star node and you can do all-star, and we can get a Brew and Activate hub. Well, we already have Live Free and Ham, but yeah.
That is also something that I could possibly look into at Hamvention, is maybe getting some kind of a hotspot that I can have at my house. A mic?
Yeah. You never seen the M1KE, the one from Shark RF?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, check it out. It's a small little... What? She has no all-star? Yes, Prep and Paul. She has a lot of things. She doesn't carry many antennas in her car. She uses one battery.
No,
she vlogs on paper.
Listen, I only have a 17-foot whip, a 25-foot whip, and at least 3 or 4 different Hustler antenna coils in the back of my car. I don't have many antennas at all. And
you just...
yeah, Paul, if you want to help me pick out some kind of all-star node, hotspot, whatever it is that I need to be able to do, different, like I have like a Yaesu radio, right? So I could do the
it's analog. Yep.
I could do like YSF on that, but there's like the YSF repeaters that are near me are like locked to the one Wolf Den talk group. So if I want to go on different YSF talk groups, then I need a hotspot. So if you guys want to help me pick out some ham equipment, see what I did there?
Help Shannon help you is really what she's getting at.
All
right.
Come walk around with me at Hamvention and tell me what to buy.
She walks fast, so be careful, guys. If you blink, she's gone. So just keep tabs on that, Miles might be your only indicator to figure out, where she is based off location. All right. Well, with that, guys, thank you again for hanging out with us today. We definitely had some fun today. Hopefully, this stuff is, right up your alleyway. And again, if you want, head on over to our Discord. The Discord link is posted and pinned at the top of the chat there. Come hang out. We always love having conversations about this stuff. And there's a whole bunch of other great things over there too as well. It's a Live Free and Ham Discord. So we'd love to have you over there. And with that, please always go check out n1jur.com. We just did a full revamp of that website, and we're going to do a lot more around the channel there. So stay tuned. We are those that have been on pins and needles. I just keep forgetting to add this. Break and build is coming soon. So if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. You can go check my community over at YouTube about that post. So that's coming soon. So if you're into clubs, that might be something you want to check into. And so, yeah, with that, I think we're going to put a pin in this one. And so whether you're activating or hunting, the goal is always simple. Have fun, stay safe, keep exploring. And until next time,
keep your radios
on.
Keep your push talk down.
PTT and POTA on.
POTA on.